Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item C, approval of minutes from July 20th and July 27th of 2020. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved. They stand approved. Citizen communication. There's no one here in the audience, but if there's anyone that is on the WebEx, feel free to type in the message box there, and we will check that periodically and get to your questions. Item E, reports from council committees. The Finance and Budget Committee, Safety, Human Resource Committee, and Technology and Communication Committee. None of them met recently due to lack of agenda items. Move on to item G. G1 is G1 is resolution number 033-20. A resolution approving the addition of a $50 surcharge to City of Napoleon, Ohio employee health insurance premiums, amending resolution number 073-19, and declaring an emergency. Joel?
You need a motion.
Oh,
So
sorry.
moved.
Second.
Joel?
Thank you, Council President. And we kind of touched on this last time. This is for the adding this surcharge to the health insurance premiums for those that don't get wellness checks. Practice that we've been doing for the past 2 years. It's worked out well. We've had over 90% participation. Actually, I think since we added spouses, we had 3 total individuals out of roughly 150 or so people that are on our health care plan get the wellness checks. So we got the 1% discount on our health insurance premium, or health insurance costs in the next year. So we were able to get 1% less cost for us in terms of our health care costs, which are, around approaching the $1.5 million range annually. So a little bit different than the previous years. We were going to extend the ability for those due to what's happening with COVID-19 until the end of the year. Usually we go to the end of November, but for year 2020, we'll allow everybody to get their wellness checks by the end of the year, December 31st, and then that'll apply to next year. And then for 2021, they would be required to get their wellness checks from the first of the year through the end of June. And the reason for that is that BORMA, the BORMA group voted on this, and the group that it's called Magis Group now. Used to be Chapman and Chapman that ran the health insurance piece. Wants to take the metrics that they find and try to tailor programs for those communities that have higher different health issues. Tailor everybody's program and their educational piece to each individual community. Obviously, no names included. It's just they take the compilation of all the data and use that to try to do more education for more wellness activities. So that's how we would set up for 2021. So we're looking for this legislation first read for 2020 and years 2021, so.
I have a question or kind of a scenario. Let's say I'm a procrastinator and I'm gonna wait till the last week of December, last week of 2020. So I go on, say, December 29th. And I get this done, I get all my tests and everything. And then my resolution for 2021 is to not be a procrastinator, and I go on January 3rd. Would I have to have all of the same tests done, everything done again, even though I had it done maybe 6 days ago?
Laney, do you have an answer to that? I believe that.
Good evening.
Hey, Lainey, how are you?
Hello. So yeah, you would have to have it done again. I mean, their goal is to have everyone get it done a year in between, but people, you know, getting on the new schedule, it might be a little difficult if they've waited till the end of the year because of COVID and doctor's office is not open. But Aetna will cover that cost again because it's not a rolling calendar. It's a calendar year that you can get one in December and then turn around and get one in January.
Okay. Thank you very much, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, that will be moving on to second read. Item G2 is ordinance number 034-20, an ordinance amending certain City of Napoleon traffic schedules, specifically Schedule I, on-street parking prohibited on certain streets, and Schedule, was that 1? Sorry. Then Schedule 3,
Yep.
stop and yield intersections as listed in the attached Exhibit A, and repealing ordinance number 096-07 and 112-07. Do you have a motion?
So move.
I'll second that.
Joel?
Thank you. I have up on the screen the Schedule 1 and Schedule 3, so just to scroll through them, this is the parking schedule, and it shows, let me go back up to the top. It shows the street from where to where and the prohibited sides for parking, so, you know, it just goes down every single street, so. We've redlined, and you saw this in your packet, the areas that we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about adding Old School Drive. Let's see here, there it is, Old School Drive in blue. Adding it, parking on both sides. I'm sorry, I believe it's, Chad, it's restricting on both sides, is that correct?
Correct, that's the side it's prohibited on. It's prohibited on both.
So, then going back down to Park Street, this would prohibit parking on the north side of the street. And that makes it consistent with the, is that right? Consistent with the rest of the project, Chad?
Yeah, we're making the entire length of the street the same. Before, as you can see, there were 3 sections and all 3 were different before. Because we'd actually had parking allowed on the section from Sheffield to Glenwood. But now they'll all be consistent.
So all parking on the south side. And then scrolling down to the last piece, which is the Schedule 3, the stop and yield in intersections. We've talked about this once before, but adding, instead of a 2-way stop, having it be a 4-way stop at the intersection of Sheffield and Park Street. And also adding Old School Drive, my mistake. So we had the stop sign on Old School Drive heading on to Claremont. That's the new road that was just dedicated, and then Park Street, Sheffield. I believe that is it. Is that it, Chad?
Yeah, just further down, it lists the four-way
There it is.
stops, and that's where Park
There
and
it is.
Sheffield are added to the four-way stop list.
Yep, so it was the two-way stop above that was crossed out, and Park at Sheffield, four-way stop added in this section.
So what kind of time frame are we talking to make that? Are we
Um,
gonna wait
When it,
the full,
when it passes, yeah.
It's already painted on Sheffield, isn't it, Jeff?
hmm?
Isn't the line already painted on Sheffield?
Yes.
Yeah.
The stop bar is painted, the signs are bagged.
I think I wanna make a motion to suspend the rules and do it now.
So you would change the ordinance to be emergency, under emergency?
Yes, I
Declaring
wanna get it
emergency?
done now, because people do stop down there. I'm just voicing my opinion.
So it sounds like it's kind of confusing. If a line's already there, some
Yep.
people are gonna stop, and other people that know they're, have to stop.
Mhm.
And I think though, Chad, if I'm not mistaken, the lines were painted there. Is that was part of their contract, but this ordinance wasn't changed. And I remember they had the stop signs at the wrong,
Nagel's
Reversed.
striped that, and during the project, they did have their temporary stop signs on the wrong street. There was some confusion out there after discussing the issue with Chief Mack. We agreed it would probably be best to go forward with the four-way stop. But, so Nagel did go ahead and paint it, but we can't have the actual stop signs until the legislation is passed and in effect.
Chief, can I put you on the spot for a minute here? What's your opinion? Is it safer to make the four-way stop immediately?
I would agree with that. I've seen it go both ways, where people were stopping on there.
Right.
It's kind of like, I'll attribute it to Main Street and Scott Street.
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same thing.
It's kind of the same thing that's happening right now. And it would
So,
make it safer with the four-way stop anyhow. I strongly agree with
yeah,
that.
so let's not get people used to that you don't have to stop, and then
And then all of
a
a
few
sudden,
weeks
there's a
from,
sign.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
would-
agree 100%. So,
We have had the change of traffic pattern signs up for a few weeks now, so there has been some warning since we've had those signs up for a while.
A little break in time until school starts.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Chief.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to suspend.
Well, you gotta amend the ordinance to be declaring emergency, right?
Yeah, right.
no, is it declaring an emergency?
not.
No.
It's set for 3 reads in 30 days.
See, okay.
Hey, Bill, you on?
I am. There is not an emergency clause on this one.
So can we do
Can I make it one?
can we make a motion to do the emergency?
Yes, a motion can be made to amend the legislation to add an emergency clause. That won't obviously be drafted immediately, but it will be done by tomorrow. So don't sign the copy you have, but if you made that motion, it were approved, and then you made the next two motions to suspend and then pass the legislation, that would suffice.
Okay, so we need the motion to amend, and then a motion to suspend, and then a motion to
Pass.
pass the ordinance.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Okay, would anyone like to second the motion to amend the emergency clause?
I'll second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, anyone have any more comments or questions? Hearing none, Rox, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, so that ordinance passed under emergency and suspension on first read. Okay. Moving on to item G3, resolution number 035-20. A resolution authorizing and directing the finance director of the city of Napoleon to certify and file annual assessments of the city of Napoleon, Ohio, with the county auditor of Henry County for placement and collection of the 2020 tax duplicates payable in the year 2021 and declaring an emergency.
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Kelly?
Thank you. Good evening. These are for the water and sewer special assessments by project. They're the same projects from the prior years and also for nuisance control.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Have any questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, that will be moving on to second read. Item G4, resolution number 036-20, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor of Henry County for the 2020 tax duplicates payable in year 2021 and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Kelly?
Thank you. These are the amounts and rates from the 2021 tax budget that council passed about a month and a half ago.
All right, thank you. Have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, that will be moving on to second read as well. All right, G5, resolution number 037-20, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to apply for and accept Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement Program and Local Transportation Improvement Program funds for projects deemed necessary by the city engineer in the year 2021 and declaring an emergency. Who writes these things? Man, run-on sentences. Anyway. Have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Joel?
Thank you. This is basically legislation that we have annually to allow us to apply for ODOT funds for these programs.
Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Molly,
Sorry.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, that will move to second reads as well. Moving on to item H, second reads of ordinances and resolution. H1 is ordinance number 032-20, an ordinance approving current June 2020 replacement pages to the City of Napoleon codified ordinances. Have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Joel?
Nothing significant to report out of this, second read, and nothing new to report since the last time we talked about this.
Well, that's boring. Any questions or comments? Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay. Should we take like a 30-minute break? Because we're going way too fast.
Oh, no.
I just, yeah.
Yeah,
I
why?
called that
Why?
Early? All right, sorry.
What are you, Dan Bear, saying there's gonna be no snow this year? What are you gonna do?
Oh, man, don't put me in the same category. I would not make it snow. All right, item, or I, there's no third reads.
It's in jest, Dan, come on.
Item J, good of the city. J1, discussion or action, acceptance of EMS 2020-2021 training and equipment grant award in the amount of $5,023.99.
Clayton?
Who?
Clayton?
Chief O'Brien.
Hello, everybody. This is just an annual EMS grant. It's a reimbursable grant, so what they do is they give us a set amount, and then we spend on certain equipment or supplies that we would need for the ambulances, and then we turn in those receipts to show that we've used that money for that. So this year, it does vary each and every year, but we're just kind of told exactly what they're going to give us, but they strongly encourage, if you spend all your money, that's how we've been able to be successful in getting the larger amounts around the $5,000 mark.
Okay, Chief, with these grants, are these just guaranteed to City of Napoleon because they like us, or do you have to do any work and apply for these and put things in every year?
No, we do have to apply for these grants each and every year. There is a specific list of things that you can apply for, and then there's also only certain times that you can spend the money between. So we can't, for this particular grant, we have to actually apply for it, put it in, and we can only spend on their fiscal year, which is the state's fiscal year is July to June. So that's why you see it after the July 1st mark before we actually put the expenditures in for the grant like this.
Great, thank you. The reason I'm asking is, I mean, we think of a fire chief as helping put out fires or training new firefighters and hiring them and doing all that, but there's a lot more that goes into what your job is. And we come across a lot of grants that we receive because you seek those out. So I appreciate that very much.
So thank you.
Chief, is this for consumables on the ambulance, or is this for more equipment that's gonna stick around for a little while?
It's actually more for equipment that's going to stick around for a little while. This year, as you know, we're remounting 2 of the ambulances, and we do have 3 ambulances. So this year, the big purchases out of this was going to be a refrigerator for each one of those. We have certain medications that allow us to do certain procedures out in the field, but do require refrigeration, so they expand the time. So that is going to be one of the major purchases. And then it will be like replacing the blue bags that we know as like the trauma bags. So we're buying 3 of those, and then there is some thermometers and some other things in there, but it's more of a durable equipment grant rather than like, consumable or
Right.
disposable stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, could I have a motion to accept this grant?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, that's been accepted. Item J2, discussion or action approval of plans and specifications for the volute press procurement for the 2020 wastewater treatment plant improvement project. Joel?
Thank you. What this approval would do is allow us to bid out the purchase of this equipment. Basically, they're screw presses, and they would eventually replace the belt presses that are in the wastewater plant right now. I know we've talked about this in the past, and not to get into too much detail on this unless you would want more detail. The building itself was designed, was not designed to handle and I'm talking about the press building, to handle the corrosive atmospheres that are created from pressing wastewater treatment sludge out of the building. So we're getting a lot of corrosion, and so much that it's eating away at the building and the equipment in the building. So these belt presses are a chore, so to speak, to maintain, and are starting to get to a point where they're starting to break down and fall apart. So, and they're getting a little bit older, getting a little longer in the tooth, so to speak. Screw presses for the new treatment system, and with all the solids, is a much more efficient system. As you can see, the estimated cost for this, just the purchase of the equipment, is $740,000. That'd be for the 2 presses, and that would be rolled into the overall debt of a new water treatment plant rehab project too. So it's just that with the long lead time, these don't sit on a shelf. They have to actually be manufactured and brought in. So that's why we're looking to do this now and then roll this into the overall project later on. I will note that we are still working with Courtney and Associates. We have ramped that back up and doing the rate review. And we held off on that because we wanted to see how the coronavirus was going to have an effect on, if any, on our revenues, which we're looking like a positive side actually. So hopefully that continues on. And we were worried that there was going to be a negative impact on the revenues in the sewer fund, so, and the water fund for that matter, which we have seen the negative effect in the electric fund too. So we wanted to wait and see how things went, and then but I think we're comfortable enough now with the at least water and sewer rate studies to move forward with.
Great, thank you, Joel.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay, that's been approved. Moving on to item J3, discussion and action to amend resolution number 081-19, elimination of competitive bidding. Hey, Joel?
Thank you. This is just to actually, we'll need a request to have council direct the law director to draft legislation. This is due to the server replacements. We had servers replaced. They came in under budget, but we also went ahead and did the police servers also. Those needed worked on as well, so, and replaced. And also for the Spangler-Nathanson contract for the legal work for the water contract deal. So, and then lastly, We'll have to do a name change to one of the companies. These are to the master bid ordinances, or the master vendor ordinances. One of the companies changed their name, so just to clean it up, it's the company that we buy chemicals for the golf course. Kelly, does that cover everything?
Yes. And we're monitoring it, we'll be monitoring it quarterly just to make sure that nothing else goes over the $25,000 threshold.
So you need a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation to eliminate competitive bidding, period, or?
Not just, no,
It would be
Yeah.
amend the resolution 8119.
right. We're not eliminating competitive bidding
Right.
overall, just for
Got
these
it.
three
Just
instances.
for that.
For
Yeah.
this,
For those-
yeah, for that legislation, which
Right.
is one of the master.
And all three that you said were all inside of number 081-19.
Correct.
All right. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I thought the same
Joel,
thing.
can you have that resolution to us next meeting?
Oh, yeah, it'll be on the agenda for passage, so yeah, it'll be on there.
Thanks, sir.
Knowing our law director, it's already done, but,
I was thinking the same thing. We're
Yeah.
gonna eliminate all competitive bidding, 'cause that's not what we wanna do. So that was a
Yeah.
question I had too, so, yeah.
It's written and ready to go,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll get that up.
and probably the one we changed earlier is already done too, but I'm just guessing.
Not quite, no, I'm paying attention instead of writing, sorry.
Okay, all right. Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
All right, moving on to going around the table here. We're going to start with the mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. City Manager Mazer talked with State Rep Hoops about state dollars coming from the federal government, and State Representative Hoops said, well, I'll just get Congressman Ladd on the phone. So today at about 5 o'clock, the four of us, State Rep Hoops, Joel, myself, Congressman Ladd called Jim, and we had a 25, 30-minute conversation on what's going on at the federal level to help us, get some more flexibility in the dollars that we already received, and also maybe what's on the docket for the next one. The latest stimulus package that's already been passed had $4.5 billion here for the state of Ohio, of which only less than 12% has already been spent. So that's a state rule, and they're working with the state to figure out how to get that to be more flexible. What you're hearing right now in the media is that the Democrats have a $3 trillion bill, and the Republicans have a more modest $1 trillion, if you call $1 trillion modest. And they're trying to hammer out the differences between those. To put that into perspective, the federal government budget for all of 2020 was originally $1.7 trillion. So the Democrats want to basically, including the money already spent, add another $3 trillion onto it. So I think it would behoove them and the city if we can just kind of free up kind of the money we already have and make it much more flexible for us. So that was the big part of the conversation. Joe, anything to add into that?
Nah, that covers it.
Okay.
We're just hoping to get flexibility.
Yeah.
We message sent, it's difficult, we talked about, general fund
Right.
expenses.
Right.
And how, in the Moody's reports and everything, I did bring that again with me, but the Moody's report that was published in late May just shows that Ohio cities are gonna be, expect the Ohio cities to be, most of them to be hard hit by the coronavirus.
Right.
And that, we don't know what that number is, but we're actively monitoring it, and we should know by September when, when we should have a better idea of how much, we should be impacted by 2020, we collect income tax in 2021 for 2020.
2020,
So
yeah.
we should know what the impact of that is by then, so.
Yep.
Yeah, message sent though, and well put, we just, we need the flexibility in the spending of how we can spend these funds, because
Right.
it's a little restrictive for us right now.
So we just hopefully free that up, so that, like I said, message received and message sent, so that was good. Talked to a local charity today, also talked to a local manufacturer. The charity's a little slower than they normally are. Lots of people just kind of hunkered down and have not been using it as much. They're anticipating as things ramp back up, when things ramp back up, their efforts are gonna ramp back up too. A local manufacturer saw a little bit of slowdown actually before COVID hit. They kind of weathered through, had some layoffs, back to full strength now, and their business is starting to think about picking back up. So I thought that was kind of a good thing. Circling back to when Representative Hoops came, the first thing I said to him was, unfortunately, Ohio had a historic week last week because of the former Speaker of the Representatives, and we don't need to remind ourselves, but every once in a while it's nice just to rehear, if you're not doing this for the people, then don't do this. And I think that was something that maybe gets lost sometimes, and make sure we're doing it, for the people. So, had a complaint about somebody that lives on Ballman Place. We repaved that road about 3 years ago, and it's starting to show some cracks. Didn't know if we could take a look out. I'll get with you afterwards with the address and those kinds of things, yep.
Got it.
And last week was a good week for Napoleon. Obviously, we all were here on Monday after the Planning Commission meeting, talk about potential economic development at the old Walmart, also past the American Road reconstruction. Also, then we had a road dedication. And nobody could definitively say when the last time we dedicated a road, but we guessed 06, 07 at picket fences on the south side for our brand-new road. So old School Drive is now here. We're kind of where West School used to be, so it's Old School, West School. So and that development continues. So we're seeing a lot of positive stuff, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Commodore.
Nothing.
Joel.
Nothing.
Kelly.
Thank you. I just want to let the council know that the CAFR, the audit, and the annual information statement are all complete.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You had one heck of a July, didn't you? Taxes due, audit due, CAFR due. Yeah.
Makes the time go fast.
Billy.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Dan.
Yeah, I was wondering if we do have the final results on the citizen survey on the reciprocity tax, you'll have it in August.
We do. We do. We're compiling that data and trying to get into a format that's so we'll have it in everybody's packet as soon as, hopefully by the end of the week, if that works for everybody. And then I know we don't have a regular council meeting next week, but
That would be able to be discussed in 2 weeks.
it closed on Friday, so we're just got the results in and compiling the data, and again, trying to get it into a format that, maybe with a couple of graphs or something to show what,
Would you like to include it as a discussion item in 2 weeks?
Yes, I would. Is that okay, sir?
yeah, that's.
Okay. Can you add that on there, please? Thank you, Rox.
That's all.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Ross.
Nothing for me, thank you, sir.
Okay. Ken.
This rain this last couple days ought to really make the weeds grow along Park Street. It looked like a pretty good crop this morning when I drove down.
Anything else?
No, nothing else.
Lori.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, Molly?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Okay. I guess the only thing I have is, just want to have a little bit of a discussion since this meeting is going so fast. I'm gonna extend it a little bit. The Axis LED Group. To me, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, we were talking about this company, Jack Products, coming in town for a spec building, and I think originally they were talking around 200 employees, and I mean, we were so excited. We were hoping to have 10 to 15 employees in there. And it was amazing that they were talking about 200, and now they bumped it up to 300 to 400.
Right.
And now we have a company that is coming into Napoleon that is occupying a building that's been an eyesore and been vacant for 18 years, and doing something that's going to benefit the whole country with N95 masks and gloves and everything else they're going to do, not to mention bring 400 to 500 jobs here in Napoleon.
Right.
I'm just so surprised that it hasn't been talked about more. It's not been like, wow, this is awesome. I mean, every aspect of it is great. And I don't know if it's just because we've all been kind of social distancing and we're not all together and getting together and saying, man, this is awesome. But I just want to point that out and thank this company for choosing Napoleon and using their knowledge and their expertise to manufacture some things that are greatly needed in this country.
Right.
And to choose Napoleon to do it and create another 400 or 500 jobs. So that's all I have.
It's exciting.
Very exciting.
Very exciting, yep.
And it puts Napoleon on a global map.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't just gonna be, these are American-made products that would be shipped out all over the country, but all over the globe.
Right.
It's really
Brian Kohler did have an article about it.
He did.
He didn't
Yeah,
really come out and greatly praise it, but it was a very positive article.
yeah.
he had a nice column though, I think it was on Saturday in the paper, his opinion column, I thought was really
Yes.
nice. Yeah.
But I just think if it was any other time, this would be, top news and all the Toledo
Yeah.
news channels and everywhere, and putting Napoleon on the map. And since our meeting last Monday, I've really thought about it a lot. Like, this is huge for Napoleon.
Sure is.
Yeah,
It's awesome. So I just want to thank that company and the people that worked hard to get them to come here.
Yep.
And to have somebody in that building that's been sitting empty for 18 years. It's a great thing. Okay, moving on to item K, executive sessions. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Approve payments of bills. In the absence of any objections or corrections, a payment of bills shall stand approved. Stand approved. Item M, adjournment.
The
Have a-
meeting's too short.
you have a motion?
Everybody's gonna sit here.
I'll move to adjourn.
All right, thank you.
Second.
All right, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes?
Molly,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan.
Yeah.
It's adjourned.